All right, Facebook. You guys know what time it is, man. It is Black Wall Street week, and we're coming to you with part two. Super, super excited to get today's show underway. My guest is in the building. So, again, this is about, us talking real live solutions, man. Real live solutions. What can we do as individuals, as well as what can we do collectively as a people to bring economic empowerment and community development uh, to all of the hoods around the country and around the world, and transform them hoods back into communities. What's the difference between a hood and a community? See, the hood is something that was coined for us. The ghettos was something that was created for us. We didn't come up with that stuff. They told us what we were. They told us we were boys in the hood, and because if they would have told us we were boys in a community, that means we would own everything in our communities. That means we will own the politics in our community. That means we will own the police departments and stuff in our community. So we want to get back to that, transform our hoods from hoods back to communities where we own and control everything, and we create the culture and we develop the culture for what each community is actually going to be. So I'm on a little bit early so we can let Facebook build up the audience before I bring on my special guest and officially start the show live. So if you guys will share the stream, and then we'll get ready to get this thing going. Um, this brother that's coming to the show this morning, seriously, unapologetically black, and everything he does is for the upliftment of our community and our people. Morning, Ray J. Morning, Jesus. Morning, Sandra. So if you guys can start sharing the stream a little bit earlier, inviting people to come check the stream out, that'd be most appreciated. Um, but this is going to be, we're going to another level. Evan Jefferson set it off yesterday. Brother, my guest for today is going to come through in equally as fascinating fashion. And we're just going to keep this thing moving throughout the week. Um, so yes, please get all your folks invited and get them on board, and we're going to get ready to rock and roll with the show in a second here. Let me set everything up on YouTube. Get ready to go live, and I apologize. I was having some trouble with my application yesterday, so I didn't get the audio uploaded to iTunes. So I'll get yesterday's audio and today's audio uploaded to iTunes, even if I have to get a different program. For whatever reason, my normal tools wouldn't work and get me where I wanted to be. So, but I appreciate you guys. See, you guys are already starting to share, and the stream is starting to fill up with viewers. So I appreciate that. Yesterday we topped 1,000 views within the first hour that the show broadcasted. I think we ended up at almost 2,000 views for yesterday's show. Give yourselves a round of applause, because the more we share positive information, the more people will recognize that they're. See, I used to believe that I was the only one out here looking for solutions. I used to believe that there wasn't enough people out here. But when I started to do some digging and I started to run into the Evans and the Sandras and all of these people, I started to see that, hey, I might be the only one in my local area, or one of a handful in my local area, but there are people out here who are hungry for change in our communities. So the more you share this, the more people start to see, hey, there are communities out of people out here who are not only trying to learn our history and keep us from repeating the doom of our history, but there are some people out here making progressive strides and steps every day to start to lay the foundation for us to better our community. So we have to get shows like this out more and keep sharing and that sort of stuff. So I appreciate everybody sharing. So now we are going to get ready to start the show, man. Because I mean, man, Let's just make it do what it does. How about that? Right? It don't sound right when you try to be grammatically correct, right? Make it do what it does. No, you make it do what it do, right? Make it do what it do. All right, so you guys know what time it is. Let me get my intro music together. All right, so I don't know if y'all ready, but hold on to your seats, man. Buckle up, cause here we go. Put the hips, get on the snap. Cause the way the real rap is being real as hell. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up. Put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real rap is being real as hell. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you guys are like, feel wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything. Time having it is. Deuteronomy 8:18 that God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the root of all. You don't like money so much, why don't you get up and go to work? Everybody do and above all the things that want to I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my family. Not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Cortez. Good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning live with your main man, H. Cortez. And we are coming to you live this morning from the Black Real Estate School studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Guys, if you are serious about learning the real estate game, if you're serious about partnering with people who are serious about the real estate game, teaching it and helping you understand where you can find your niche within that whole market, because it's more than just flipping. It's more than just buying and renting out properties. There are all sorts of ways to get involved in real estate. Then you want to go to theblackrealestateschool.com. theblackrealestateschool.com and get yourself registered and enrolled, and I promise you, you will be glad that you did. So this morning, we are continuing Black Wall Street Week. I have a very special guest that I'm going to introduce to you guys today. But before we do, just let me let you know this, that I am H. Cortez, your host for today, also known as the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, privilege, and a pleasure. And I count it a blessing to be able to come to you guys each and every morning to share with you from my heart. And I should tell you all the time, you guys are just listening to me lecture to myself. These are things that I'm trying to teach and learn myself. These are things that I'm trying to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable to do. So basically, I invite you guys into a personal lecture to myself. So you guys thought I was talking to y'all, but I'm not. I'm talking to me, and you guys just get to listen in. So if you have not been on the show before, let me tell you exactly who this show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only. You got to be ready to get up and get out and get something in today's economy, or else you'll never have anything, right? And if that is you, this is your show. This show is for legacy builders, right? If you are serious about building a legacy for your family, if you're serious about building generational wealth, this show is for you. If you're the type of person that says, you know what, every night I lay myself down to sleep, I think about what I'm going to do tomorrow, next year, next 5 years, next 10 years, to make sure that my children's children are going to be proud to bear my name, then this is your show. Now, on the other hand, who is this show not for, right? This show is not for the bump on the law. This show is not for the pessimist. This show is not for that person who, if you're the type of person sitting back waiting on Donald Trump to fix the economy instead of focusing on your economy, this is not your show. Right. If you are the type of person that sees a negative in every situation, this is not your show. If you're the type of person who thinks money is evil, capitalism is a dirty word, wealthy people are snobs, this ain't your show, man. Because I'll tell you, when you have that kind of relationship with money, then you tend to repel money away from you instead of attracting it to you. Right. And everybody who's watching this show is attracting money prosperity, peace, blessings, joy, happiness into their lives. So if that's not you, then this ain't your show. You can exit stage left. And I can tell you each and every morning, if you've never seen a future billionaire before, and yes, that's billion with a B, I want you to take a screenshot. Jeez, because you're looking at one right now. In fact, you're looking at two in a minute when I bring on my guests, because that's what we do, man. And if you want to get in the game with us, it's what I recommend, because there's not a billionaire on this planet that has ever gotten there without helping other people become billionaires, mega millionaires, decamillionaires, millionaires, and so on and so forth. So that could be you, if you get off your rump and do something, right? In my Kimberly Elise voice from the movie John Q, she told her husband, do something. And he went and took the hospital hostage, right? So I'm not telling you to go take the hospital hostage, but you got to get off your butt and do something. Today's show is brought to you by the Passive Income School. Guys, if you don't understand the power in creating systems and creating passive income, meaning that money that comes in with minimum physical effort from you, right? Renting properties is passive income, right? It takes minimum effort. Once you get that property together to be rented out, it takes minimum effort, and that passive income comes in, month out. So we want you to learn how to do that. And my guest for today will tell you exactly how you can access the Passive Income School. So this brother is somebody that I followed for about 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer. And I've modeled a lot of the things that I do off this brother, because he is serious about his own legacy personally, but like me, he's also serious about the legacy of our people, and doing everything that he can to make sure that we have a fair shot at building generational wealth. And one thing that I loved the last time he was on the show, he said, Tez, man, I ain't taking no vow of poverty to advance the movement. So, and I believe in that too, that we don't have to take a vow of poverty to advance the movement. There's things that we could do to bring positive energy to our communities and draw an income from that at the same time. So as I present to some and introduce to others, let me tell you that you better buckle up and hold on to your seats, because Mr. Own or Be Owned, Mr. Unapologetically Black Man for the Black Man, without further ado, it's my man, Brother Dre, Andre C. Hatchett. Good morning, brother. How's it going?
What's going on, leadership? Great morning to you, man. Thank you for the warm intro. I appreciate it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, look, man, let's get right into it, man. We got 52 minutes to bust some heads around here, man, because that's what Black Wall Street is all about. That's what this week is all about. We need to bust some heads to the fat meat to get our people in a position to do what we need them to do in order to have what we need them to have. So before we go all the way, Ham, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and where you're from, and a little bit of your background, and why you're so cotton picking passionate about the Black community, bro.
All right. Well, again, great morning to you, Brother Cortez, and great morning, audience, guests, and viewers who will view this at a later time. My name is Andre C. Hatchett. I am of Jamaican descent. I was born in New Rochelle, New York. I've worked previous to being an entrepreneur full time. Peace, Marcus. I worked with special needs children, making $15.15 an hour. I enjoyed the work, but it was definitely the plantation, definitely racism, definitely and black male. I was great at my job when I got. I was great at the job, because that job was not mine. I was great at the job when I got heat for being a phenomenal black male doing phenomenal work. The whole school knew who I was. All the kids knew who I was. I was coaching youth basketball team. I was just I was great at what I did, and I still had heat. And I always knew that entrepreneurship was going to be my route. I thought at the time it was going to be on a part-time basis, or maybe later on in life. But me doing a phenomenal job and me still getting heat from the clan, I was like, okay, this exit strategy has to change. So when I was 22 when I bought my first property. I got my second with my family member when I was 23. And I started my mobile notary company when I was 23 and a half, going on 24. I've had a company for 24 years, and now we're nationwide. And I'm hardcore black. I'm hardcore black empowerment. I was raised studying Garvey. I was raised studying Malcolm X by my great father. So it was embedded in me to be pro-black. And I'm, I'm result orientated by nature. So I can't call out Reverend Allen Jesse or whoever is the public black figure out here if I'm not out here. Who am I going to point to? So I had to point. I had to point at myself, and I was like, anything that most of what I'm going to speak out about, besides in politics, because I don't really care about it. What I'm going to speak out about, I'm going to take a part in it, and I sleep better at night when I do that. So here we are, long-term entrepreneur, real estate investor, and teacher. I have over 3,000 students in the past year and a half.
Awesome, awesome. So, and I like that you said that if you're not going to be out here taking actions every day in the community to uplift and bring economic empowerment, be it information, be it businesses, you're not going to point the fingers at quote unquote leaders in the community. And I like that. And we talked a little bit yesterday about the difference between leaders and leadership. And you are an example of leadership in the sense that you are doing what you expect to be done by others versus pointing out what needs to be done and telling people, hey, go do this, go do this, go do that. And that's the difference. What a leader does is say, hey, go do this. But leadership says, come, I need your help as we together do this. And I like that about you. So let's one of the things that we got a question even before you when people knew you were coming on, we got a couple questions. And one of the questions is I want you to explain to the audience what gentrification is and what do you see as a couple, one or two, maybe three steps that we can invoke to stop gentrification in our neighborhoods.
Gotcha. So the technical term for gentrification, it isn't actually a race thing. It's a renewal. So it's the renewal of an urban or decaying community or environment. So there isn't a race attached to it. But in our lifetime, it's the past really hardcore, let's go hardcore 15 years, it has been not us renewing the neighborhoods on a larger scale. So it's basically white people, Asians, everyone who's not black, Mexican, going to the urban areas where there's usually usually a lot of multi-family homes, vacant lots, city-owned homes, boarded up homes that have been there for a long time, and they buy them typically in a group, and the group could be one other person. Group economics, you need one other person. You do not need multiple people. If it happens, it's great. And they buy the property. So it doesn't start with the businesses. Usually, if a business is there, then they usually own the storefront and they own the apartments up top, and they revitalize them. The rents go up, and oftentimes we have to move out because we don't own it. So and Brother Dre lingo, that's gentrification.
Right. So, and I like that you said that a group can be one other person because I'm so past. We gotta wait for all 44 million black people in America to get on the same page before we can do anything progressively to fix what's going on in our community, right?
Yeah. I actually like small groups, to be honest with you. I like to work with under 5 people on a project personally. Not that it has to be the model for everybody going forward, but I personally like small groups. I find that I get more done when I work with small groups. So yeah, the whole everybody's same page, the whole no movement has ever had more than 20% of its people ever in history. No movement has ever had more than 20% of its people in history. I got that from my girl Maria Lloyd. Hey Maria. And not girlfriend, just friend. And I was like, wow, when she said that made total sense. So let's just start. Let's literally just start and keep going. No, do not need a bunch of people. And people tend to want to hop on when you have something tangible anyway. So let's say that me, you, and Evan, and my man Anthony want to build Black Wall Street and our own in our own way. What I would say before we even go out to massive amount of people, I would say let's buy a vacant piece of land, a house, a tax lien, something, and say, hey, here's what we've done. Um, here's here's the plan going forward for the next property. If you want to hop in with us, here's what we've already done. Because
Right.
people want to work
Right.
with people who already have something tangible existing. It's easy to get
Right.
people on board.
Exactly, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So yeah, that's why I love what you do, man. You're just an action taker, man, and that is powerful. So we talked about other communities doing, coming into, and if you take the race thing out of it, it just makes sense because one thing that we don't understand when it comes to gentrification and the black community, we
Mhm.
don't realize that we can bring value to these communities if we focus there. So what other communities say is we want to buy while the costs are down, and then we drive the value up, and now we own all of this new value. We want to move out to neighborhoods where the value already exists, buy high, and then the value starts to drop after we mortgage two, three, $400,000. So talk about how we as a community or group, meaning when you and one other person, right, can start gentrifying our own neighborhoods and communities.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm actually glad you brought that up, Brother Cortez. Is well, oftentimes we don't value what's there. See, a whole lot of us are reactionary and we're not proactive. So we get moved, whether it be good move or bad move, by typically white people. So a whole lot of us were still under this colonialism. And I say this very respectfully for our ancestors. A lot of us are slave minded, meaning that we act on white people. Whether if they bother us, then we do something, or if they're nice to us, then we do something. So we have the vacant lands there, we have the border of homes there, and we don't value it because they haven't told us to do anything.
Right,
They
right.
haven't said go, so a lot of us aren't going. Then once they start doing, oh God, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, it's been there. It's been there. Like it has been there. It has
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
been there. So we, a whole, a lot of us just don't have a high enough value on ourselves. And then
Mm.
we have the black socialist community, which I don't even know what the fuck this means, Cortez. Pardon my language. It's fucking bullshit, dude. And I hear these people saying, "Don't become wealthy, don't get money, don't don't live for abundance wealth." Wealth abundance, but you're being priced out. You're paying capitalist rent. You're paying so-called
Yeah.
capitalist rent to live there. You're making them
Right,
rich, but you feel
right.
guilty about becoming rich. So most of it is mental. Most of it actually is not financial because we have the money.
We have the
We want
means.
more people to do something opposed to a Chinese person who just needs one or two people. We might need three or four, but these things can
Right.
get done. It's a mental
Mhm.
thing, man. We have to follow people like you and get our psyches in order, get our psyches in
Mhm.
order, and realize that we can
Right.
do this. It's our right to do this, and take some damn action, man.
Yeah, and like you said, being reactionary to white stimulus, because that's it's key that you said that because that boarded up vacant building where 3, 4, 10, 20 of our sisters have been raped in, or nobody is reacting to say we need to tear this thing down, fix it up, transform it. But when a white person moves in and say, "Hey, I'm going to take this lot next to this building and I'm going to build on it," now all of a sudden it becomes priority that we do something with the eyesores in our community. When all along the eyesores in the community have been causing all of this harm, but we're not reacting to the right things, right? And I think Evan mentioned it yesterday and a couple of guests before is because we react with some, or you may have said it last time on the show, we react from an emotional standpoint, and we as a people are emotionally unstable, right? So when you are emotionally unstable and you're letting emotions drive your decisions, then you're coming from a place of instability. So you mentioned being a black man and having to deal with some of the things that we're subject to on the job. being a black man and being the best at what you do is a recipe for a disaster in a lot of corporate environments, right? So talk about the mind shift that you had to go through when you start to realize that, man, I see now why your father trained you in a certain way, that when you realize that there was a literal target on your back as being a black man and being an educated black man, and how we can sometimes be pushed out of establishments versus dropping out of establishments.
Yeah, so thank God my father didn't. I guess that's where I get my wrongness from, because he didn't sugarcoat anything. So he let us know exactly what is what. And seeing the movie Panther and seeing the movie Malcolm X in the theater when they first came out in the '90s, when I was between like 10 and 12 years old, I was like, whoa. So when I experienced it as a young adult, it hurt, but I was prepared for it. I was prepared for it. I just said I need to get my exit strategy on earlier than later, earlier than later. So hearing that what it was is basically don't be so good. So
Mhm.
as a dude, as a man, as a king, warrior, alpha man, whatever you want to consider,
Yeah.
with positive, but I'm like, it was positive. But it really boggles my mind. But then I said, oh yeah, this is what I've been taught, and I was a black studies major in college too. So I've lived this stuff, man. This is things I live. So I just bam, 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 bam. Ever since then, I've actually been running in terms of home ownership, entrepreneurship. I had a house a year later, a second house a couple years after that. After that, I got some bad investment properties, and then I got more on the small business side of things, and then I started selling real estate. So we need, since I've been doing my own thing, and since I've been living, I live part time in Georgia, and everyone out here is black where I live, in a lovely waterfront community. There's like a big ass lake out there, and
Mhm.
so I work with black people. My students are majority 95% black. So my money comes from black people. Most of my businesses are geared towards black people. I live around black people. So it's just a win for me. And my mental health got better. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
When you aren't looking through the eyes of white people for your validation, which a lot of us even do subconsciously, and that's okay. But we have to realize that we are doing it. And we have to realize that this has been programmed in us in order to change it. I just became a better human being. I just became
Yeah.
literally a better human being. So that's why I'm so hardcore on this, man. Dude, I don't care what the people are saying. You can isolate yourself, or have the majority of your life isolated, so you don't even have to deal with racism and white supremacy. You can get yourself out of the system if you dedicate a few years of just hardcore sacrifice to be the time where it's boring, it's lonely, it could be ugly.
Right.
It will be broke at times, but it's worth it internally.
Yeah, and you made a good key point there. I know Dr. Boyce talks about all the time
I mean, man,
um, the psychology of where we are as a people, as men, and you talked about having to dumb yourself down in a sense to make
mm,
somebody else feel comfortable around you. I had a sister on the show when we did our week of phenomenal female entrepreneurs, and she talked
great
about
job with that, by the way. Great
yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She talked about having her degree and being the smartest person on the team in IT, and uh, but she wasn't treated well enough. So then she went back and got a master's. So now she not only the smartest, she is certified the smartest on the team. And she realized that that wasn't a good thing. Being a black woman, highly educated, more intelligent than her white male counterparts. So you're talking about being in a situation where your mental health is at stake if you are not doing what you can to break free of that platform. And I haven't shared this before, but the name of my media company is Drakeomania Media, right? And I don't share this publicly, but some of you guys know what Drakeomania is. That is the technical medical term given to slaves who kept trying to break free. They said if you didn't want to be a slave and you kept trying to free yourself, then you were crazy. Right, that was in the DSM manual, drapetomaniac. Look it up. You are a drapetomaniac if you're a slave constantly trying to escape. So everything that I do is to attract other drapetomaniacs to me. Who else is trying to escape the plantation? Let's put together a plan and start to do that, man. So I'm glad that you were able to escape the plantation, brother, because a lot of the things
Going through that
you're
right now.
doing, yeah, a lot of things that you're doing are helping people escape that mental slavery and then the physical slavery because as Evan said, wealth starts in the mind. So your freedom also starts in the mind. You got to see yourself the ability to be free of the corporate plantation, and then things will start lining up for you so that you can have an exit strategy. So let's talk about what you've done. Is you said, you know what, I've learned a lot about entrepreneurship, a lot about making money in a lot of different ways, a lot about how I can build an empire for myself by catering to my people, right? Exclusively, because that's basically when you say the Black Real Estate School, then you are specifically saying, hey, this is a school for Black people who are interested in real estate. So you're unapologetically uh, um, passionate about that, and that's what I love about you. So talk a little bit about how you started to develop and what was in you that said, you know what, this is working so well for me that I want to teach it to my people. Because that's part of the problem, that we have a lot of people in positions of wealth and power and influence, but they say, hey, I got mine, now you got to get yours. But you said the other way around, hey, I got mine, now let me show a half a dozen other people how to get theirs too. What was that mindset, and where did that come from?
So I've always had the pro-black and the business side. So the pro-black, the business side, pro-black, the business side, and I wasn't always sure how to merge it. So once I said, I have all this knowledge, I know these things, and I study people. I study
Hmm.
people. I study people. So I was like, my boys Watkins has the boot camp. My man Jay Morrison. You know my man Jay Morrison?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know my man Jay Morrison has a school. I was like, I'm gonna get a school. So I just it, it, it's real one on one. If you can study people and see what they're doing, and study people who you value, who you see like, man, like you're a great king, you're a great queen. I value. I'm gonna take a couple of nuggets here, and add my own twist to it. So I was like, okay, let me do this, and I put my knowledge into a curriculum. I got with my boys. I saw Evan doing it. Yo, DJ, what up? And I was like, oh shoot, so I can teach. I was like, I could teach. 'Cause I was never good academically, so for me, teaching, I always thought I had to go through the master's, PhD, and teach at a college level. I was like, but with uh, technology and with us wanting to learn from people, tangible steps to get free financially, and to just
Hmm.
add an extra hundred or a few hundred or a few thousand dollars to your income every month. I was like, I could do that. I got that. I
Right.
mastered the hell out of that. I have,
Right.
I knew that, and I said,
Right.
wow, let me share what I know, and humbly, I got a lot of praise and a lot of good reviews from our students. I was like, man, so that was for the notary school. So it was for Andre's Notary School. Corporate people had to start their own business. The Mobile Notary Republic. I was like, well, I know a lot about real estate. Let me try to teach that, and that's going well. So I just been hardcore into the tech, the teaching scene, and for me, on a personal end, it provides passive income. It provides. I always wanted to work from wherever I wanted to in the world. That's always been one of my
Yeah.
personal missions. I want to work wherever I want to work them. So I've been all over the country the past year and a half. I had a queen in Dallas. I was able to stay there for a few months because I had these passive income systems in place. So I
Mhm.
took what I knew, I put in through curriculum, and here we are, 3,000 students later. And people don't want to share knowledge, and I'm like, well, you could do it a few different ways. You could charge a reasonable fee for it, or you can do it for
Mhm.
free. But I've never personally understood holding on to it. I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
understood wanting to be the only person in your space. It just feels good to see other people win. I like seeing you guys
Yeah.
win. I
Yeah.
love it actually. I get excited. I was on a podcast the other day, and I'm here talking to you, and I was with my man Kevin last week, and I'm like, how do I know all these great, phenomenal black men? And I'm like, wow, I Love it. So if I can be part
Yeah.
of just hanging with you guys and
Right.
sharing and growing, for me personally, it's a win, man.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I subscribe to a model that we call the learn, do, teach triangle, right? You learn something, you do it, and you teach it simultaneously. It helps get it into your spirit more. But I liken it like this. When you learn something or you know something, it stays on your hard drive until you teach it to somebody else. So
Yes.
as long as it stays on your hard drive, you have limited space to learn something new.
Wow. I never
But
thought about it.
the minute you teach it to somebody else, it goes into the cloud where there's unlimited storage. Now
Gee.
you've freed up space on your hard drive to learn something new yourself. So I still have access to it from the cloud, but it's not on my hard drive, so I can continue to learn new things and I just keep that cycle repeating. But like you said, seeing other people win, people say, man, you give out a lot of information on your show. You cover from online marketing to wealth building strategies to business principles, all that stuff. Like, man, you doing a lot of stuff that you could be charging for and that kind of stuff. And trust me, I've watched you and Dr. Boy. So the Thornton Academies are coming, right? The schools are coming.
They
Um,
should.
but but it's helping and seeing other people win is really a passion of mine, and I think my gift of the spirit is exaltation. I love to just lift people up, motivate, encourage. So that's kind of more my lane. But also another way that you're helping people, specifically brothers. Talk about the book, man. Give me the title of the book, and let's talk about where that came from and how's that going so far.
Yeah, it's going well. It's going well. Own or be owned, the Black Man's Guide to Wealth Creation in America. I'm gonna get it. Hold on a second.
All right, cool. Own or be owned, the Black Man's Guide to Wealth Creation in America. See, when brothers realize that in order for us to create wealth, we're going to have to create it from our own resources, that that's going to be liberating for us because right now we feel that the only way that we can create income in mass for most of us is we believe that income can only come through a paycheck, right? And the good book talks about the fact that profits are better than wages, but where do
Yes.
profits come from? Profits come from enterprise. Wages come from employment. So talk about a little bit about the core of the book, and then I want you guys to give me a thumbs up or give me a comment. Say right own or be owned in the chat if you're ready to go get Andre's book today, and we'll tell you exactly where to get it. Even if you're a sister, buy a couple of them and give them to some of the men in your life. Buy it yourself and read it so you can understand what the man in your life is going through, and perhaps you can encourage him and motivate him in a different way for him to get these results that Andre is talking about in the book. Go ahead, bro.
All right. So own or be owned, the Black Man's Guide to Wealth Creation in America. So I saw I saw the issues going on with our brothers in this country as people being oftentimes too soft and a pat on the back and excuse making, which isn't cool and isn't healthy. And then I saw the degrading talking down to, which was like, that's really messed up. Like, why are you doing that? I said I can give a firm approach, but I think I can get it across where it's love felt and it's more motivational and more
Mhm.
encouraging uh, than either side of the coin. So I said, I've done a lot of things wrong. I've done a lot of things. I've done a few things right. Let me put it into a book.
Mhm.
And I have my friends. I have their viewpoints in here as well. So I said, let me just throw this in. Let me just throw this in here, throw this in here, throw this in here. And I want to
Mhm.
have not a Bible per se, but I want to have a semi guide to where you might disagree with this, you might hate this, but this you agree with. And I said,
Right.
let me throw it out here. And one of the things I talk about in here is how to pick a queen or what I look for in a queen. So I when I get married, I need someone who's emotionally supportive. I need someone who is emotionally supportive. I know what I need.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's not negotiable. A
Right.
whole lot of us aren't taught what to look for in a potential queen, and they want to have babies. They're gonna marry people who they're not really into. And I'm like, dude, like you need to have some kind of standard in there. Like it's
Exactly.
okay for you to have a damn standard, dude. Have
Yeah.
some freaking standards here. And with that, you need to bring your A game because queens will follow you You don't even got to know everything. You just got to know something, right?
Exactly.
Know
Exactly.
something and be a person of action. Be a person who knows how to make a damn decision, which is something else
Yeah.
really bugs me out because there's so many brothers out here who aren't used to making a decision.
Yes.
A
Yes.
damn decision where here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out here, be ready. I'll get you that dress, and I'll see you at 8. Like just kind of decision and firmness. So it's in
Yeah.
here, and we talk about arrested development. That's where men live with their mother too long, and they wind up in a very non-sexual way, but they're dating their mothers.
Right.
Meaning
Right. Yeah.
everything they're doing, they're running it by their mom. They're like, my mom did this, my mom did this, and I'm like, dude, like you're pushing 30 here. Like this is
Yeah.
just wasting involvement. And I have a plan in here. I'm like, okay, if you want to be close with your mom, if you want to live with your mom, get a multi-family house, a mother-daughter house, a duplex, to where you're there, she's there, save money, and you're able to still have your own manhood dignity and freedom,
Exactly.
and you're able to
Exactly.
invite your queen over and not have to have your
Right.
mom.
Right. Have some issues. I mean, that is funny that you say that, man. That the making decisions part, right? Simple
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Where you want to go? I don't know where you want to go. Where you want to go? I don't know where you want to
Oh my
go.
God.
Let's go where you want to go. This. You can't even decide on dinner, right?
All
That's
you do is
why
go decide.
that's why she gonna leave your butt, man. You can't even decide on dinner, babe. What you want to do? I'm gonna eat whatever you want to eat, whatever you want. No, man, take
Make a
charge,
decision.
man, and make
Make
a
sure.
decision. Do something. But you're absolutely right. Uh, where we are, the effemination of the black man is a real thing,
Yeah.
in large part because of there's an attack on us, point blank, period. But what I want sisters to understand is the attack on us isn't an attack on us. It's an attack on you.
Yep.
See, sisters don't understand that, all right, you can do something to a man, but whatever you do to that man stops right there. But if you can break the psychology of a woman who's then going to teach all of her male children, you are the target.
Bingo.
You are the target. We're not
Directly.
the target. It is them targeting us to get to you. Because
Yep.
during our times of slavery, when they broke the man, it wasn't for the breaking of the man. You saw that they took the biggest, the strongest, the most robust brother and broke him down mentally, physically, and psychologically. But it wasn't for the breaking down of him. They did it in front of you, so you train your children. No, you say, yes, sir. You don't look that man in his eye. So you broke that kid's spirit psychologically. So what we want the sisters to start looking at is it's time to start raising some more lions around her and saying, you know what? This might get my baby killed, but I'd rather him die on his feet than live the rest of his life on his knees, right? And then you talk about having standards. That's something that's important to me. I am. If you never read the book Five Love Languages, Men and Women, that's a great book so you can understand what you need as a person. My love language is physical touch and words of affirmation. So if I'm
Yep.
with a sister who's always talking about you ain't nothing, you ain't never gonna be nothing, and
Right.
that hurts me more than it hurts somebody who has a different love language. I need words of affirmation in order
Bingo.
for me to feel validated by my princess, right? So you have to understand that about yourself so that you can then go and find some people that you are compatible with, right? So that's good stuff, bro. Good stuff. So we had a lot of people type in the chat that own or be owned, so they're going to grab the book. Make sure you let Brother Dre know that Financial Health Mentor, Talking Money in the Morning is where you're seeing it, because we like to know what kind of reach and influence that we're having on our audience. So let them know that you checked us out, you checked him out over here, and you loved his content, and you want to go ahead and grab the book. You also have, brother, the Passive Income School, and here's where I think as Black men we need to get on board with this, because there's two things that we are mandated by the Creator to be: providers and protectors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. most brothers are being providers of their family. I know statistically, and what's in the media says that all of these families are born in these broken homes, but you got to understand how they do statistics, right? If there's not a marriage license in place, then they're saying that that's a broken home. That's not a household where a man is there dominating and running his family. So statistics are skewed. But with that being said, if we are to be providers and protectors of our families, all right, Ben, have a good one. If we're to be providers and protectors of our families, ask yourself this question. How well can you, if you have to spend 12 hours in the provision mode, where are you in the protection mode? Right? You
Yeah.
have to be present to protect something, right? Yes, your provision provides for a house. Maybe you move your family out to a nice neighborhood and you're providing that way. But still, if something goes down, you got to ask your boss for permission to go take care of what's going on in your household. So passive income is a way that brothers can become more efficient in their ability to provide and protect for their family because you can literally make the same money you make in a week. You can make that in a couple of hours a day if you
Yeah.
understand income. So give us about 5 or 6 different ways that you list in your school that people can go after and start building up passive income stream.
Yeah, and touch on that. Yesterday, I sold a course for it was 800 and change. It was a year access to every course at the notarybusinessschool.com, and I was like, wow, I should I like 10 years ago or so, like that was my weekly pay. So yeah, you can do
Right.
that.
Right.
Passive income. So well, it was 2 things. It was no, actually 3 things. So it's always been a goal of mine, long term, to have passive income coming in. I thought it was going to be through mostly real estate, but then I got
Mhm.
involved more in the tech and the online space, and and the small business startup thing. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool too. So about almost 2 years ago, I was in a car accident, and I couldn't perform the mobile notary jobs myself for a while. I literally couldn't have a hard time walking. So I said, damn, I had this idea for a while. And I said, man, it's time to teach it. It's time to teach it. Let me package it up and let me teach it. So I was injured. I was injured, and it forced me to excel. So sometimes being fired, divorce,
Mhm.
a layoff, a breakup, whatever, it can force you to propel. So I was in that predicament, and I was like, I was able to sell my knowledge live and pre-recorded. So I was like, man, this is phenomenal. Then I said, let me do it again with the real estate with my real estate school. Then I did it with my mobile notary service because I wasn't doing jobs anymore myself. I was just middlemaning the jobs out per se. So let me give you an
Mhm.
example. I've been in Georgia since basically the whole year, 2017. My friend Mike, he did 2 jobs for me last week for my company, and I
Mhm.
charged the client 135 for one, and for the other one 125. So I was able to make 45 and $35 off of each job. I literally just had to make a phone call. I got the
Right.
call. I quoted them. I was like, hey, I might just all you be here this time, this time, this time. Passive income. Now I have a clothing company. Hold on one second. And everything I do, I prove it. Everything you hear me talk about that I do,
Mhm.
I'll, I'm going to show it. So I own to be owned. Now we have a documentary coming out. You can check out the trailer at ownerbeowned.co. We have a clothing company. So I was like, huh. I found out that you can have the clothes drop ship, meaning that you don't have to print them or hold the inventory. You have a company mail them out for you, and you
Mhm.
just collect profits off of it. It's a smaller profit margin, but you're also not at the post office all day and all night. So I
Right.
was like,
Exactly.
okay, let me teach that. So master it, teach it. Master it, teach it. So
There you go.
how to build a course. If you mastered something,
Yeah.
if you have mastered something, if you have a semi decent way to express yourself, you
Mhm.
can teach a course and you can sell that course. And I'll show people how to package it.
Awesome. Awesome. And I tell people all the time is every one of us know how to do at least one thing better than most.
Yes.
We know how to do it so well that somebody will either pay us to do it for them, they will pay us to show them how to do it, they will pay us to do it with them, or they will buy products and service from us that will help them do it better. and those could all be passive income streams, right? But
Minimize your dips.
yeah, yeah, and that's what we're doing is we're not looking at and I try to get across to people as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, if I hired you to work for me and I'm willing to give you $10 an hour, you have to know that what you're doing and your value to me has to be worth 40, 50, $60 an hour, or else I would be a bad businessman. I
Mm.
wouldn't pay for or invest in something that's not going to give me a great return. If I'm giving you $10 per hour, you must be making me $100 per hour, or otherwise I'm not a good businessman. So when you look at it from that perspective, say, hey, if I'm making $30, $40 an hour on the job, chances are I could be making three, four, five times that if I learn how to package my own skills and work as a consultant or whatever your skills are, you can package them yourselves and make all of that money or most of that money versus farming yourself out for a lesser amount because your employer is taking on all the overhead and all that kind of stuff. So good
See,
stuff. Passive income, guys. Get some in your life
book
today,
is
right?
passive. Even this book is passive income.
Another passive income stream, right? Wrote the book one time, right? So he
Ah,
doesn't have to write the book every time somebody orders a book, right? So
that's
passive and residual income streams, guys, we got to get to that place because again, when me as a man, when I was able to fire my boss, October 3rd, 2016, now I'm beginning to see what it's really like to be that protector for my family because I'm here. I can protect
yeah.
more what goes into my kids' heads and that sort of thing. I can protect more when I'm here when my wife comes home and if she's emotionally distraught, I'm here, right? But if I have to go get my income from somewhere else, I miss a lot of those opportunities, right? So passive income allows you to be effective and efficient in your generation of income, and then you can be present. So let's talk a little bit more about one of our guests or our viewers chimed in yesterday and said, "Hey, what is the process for acquiring properties from the city or something like that?" Because we know that a lot of times the city owns a lot of the dilapidated buildings and things of that nature. Is there a special process that we could use to start acquiring some of that land to help transform and beautify our community?
Yes, there is. And I want back real quick. For the brothers who are watching this who don't necessarily who are with the queen and they have a job and they're like, I don't know where to start. I'm not sure what to do. I would suggest this: just take small steps and bring the plan that you're working on to your queen. I should automatically respect you just for having some kind of plan and forward motion process in place. I don't want them to feel neglected or feel like you know that
Yeah,
they can part of the equation. Just come up with something and watch Cortez's videos and watch my stuff, and you'll be able to come up with an idea. So yes, and I think every time I hear the president, um, your man Trump, talk about Chicago, you know what's going on in my head? I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to take over all those properties.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a fear.
yeah,
It's like a positive fear because I'm like, man, Chicago's a major city. There aren't a lot of major cities in the country. We think there are, but there aren't a lot of like
they're
top
not.
five cities, and there aren't going to be. Chicago's a major city. Chicago is a major city. So for the city-owned properties, I sent you the links, Cortez, in your Facebook
Yeah,
Messenger. If you shoot this later on, you can. You go
yeah,
to the city that you're looking to buy the properties in, and you go to their city, to the county clerk's website or the public website for the city. It would probably end in .org. So I was on a site. I was on a site called it's Newburgh, New York. It's about an hour and a half north of New York City. That's going to be a major hub in the next few years. It's on the water. People can't afford Brooklyn or Harlem anymore. I mean, so many boarded up and beat down homes. It is insane. It is insane. So go to the city's website. They probably have an application for you to fill out. Fill out the application and apply for the properties. And they oftentimes have loans and or grants in place if you want to turn the homes into a Section 8 living, assisted living, or have anything that will make the city look good, any kind of program per se, they
Hmm.
oftentimes will either help you with that, whether it be a grant or a loan. And I say this, even if you can't fix the property right now, don't sweat it. Get the property now, fix it up later. And again, if we want how to build up Black Wall Street, people want to work with people who have something tangible. I can show you
Hmm.
homes that I have bought. I can show you homes that I sold as a real estate agent. I can show you classes that I've taught and profit that I made. So I have a track record. I
Hmm.
have a track record. So when you have a track record, even if it's one piece of property you have, you can contact your brothers and sisters and say, hey, let's do this Black Wall Street thing. I already have the asset. Now let's
Hmm.
build it up together. Here's what I need. Here's what you got to do. Here's what you got to do. Let's bring our skill sets together and let's build. So go to the city's website
Hmm.
and apply there and take it from there and stay diligent. The process can sometimes be annoying. It could be a lot. It could be a lot of paperwork. It could be a lot of phone calls. It could be showing up at the office. Just see it through, and don't get
Hmm.
discouraged if it doesn't happen right away. Think long term. And again,
Yeah.
even if it's vacant land, get something because once these things are gone, man, Cortez, they're going to be
Yeah.
gone. They're going to
Yeah.
be. I'm feeling that all that 90% of the hoods in this country are going to be eliminated in the next 5 years. I don't think there's going to be many
Yeah.
more hoods. So
Yeah.
get it, fix it up, build it.
I agree with you because what you have to realize what has happened is white flight took place because the the crime and the violence started to spill outside of the projects. See, the projects was built to contain the crime and the violence amongst black people. That
Mm-hmm.
began to spill out of the projects, and where were all of the projects placed? In the downtown urban centers. So when it started to spill out of the projects and into more surrounding areas, that's when white flight took place and they moved to the suburbs. But guess what they realized they left behind when they moved to the suburbs? All of the infrastructure and the power structure. So
Yeah.
that's why every major city was initially abandoned. And then what did we start to see happening? Because white flight took place, we started to see black mayors pop up in all of these major metropolises. Then
Mm-hmm.
they said, wait a minute, we ran and left the power structure. So now gentrification is allowing them to force their way back in. And we can stop that right and nip it right at the bud if they start coming back in and we already own a lot of that property and we started to develop it ourselves. And now we still own the power structure and they have to go build somewhere else. But you're right. That's what Donald Trump keeps talking about whenever you see the term urban, you know that means the black community, the inner city, and that's what they're trying to redevelop so that they can displace us again. I don't know about you guys, but here in Missouri, I'm in St. Louis. The nicest Section 8 and low income homes are now in the county. So now they're forcing black flight because they say, wait a minute, we don't want the Section 8 and the projects to be downtown anymore because that's valuable real estate. Let's
Yep.
move them out to the suburbs, take the projects, convert them into loft, three, four, $500, $1,000 edifices, and that's what's happening. So we have the ability to get some of this piece of this pie for ourselves, but we got to see opportunity.
Bingo. And also, in the hunt for the properties, go to homepath.com. And when I listen, go to homepath.com. Those are all Fannie Mae bank owned homes. Fannie
Hmm.
Mae is a government backed program. So they're all basically foreclosures. And
Hmm.
also, aim for multi-family homes whenever possible. Aim for multi-family homes whenever possible. That's how real wealth is built. So the more units, the better. The
Hmm.
more units, the better off you'll be. And again, buy it as long as you can pay the taxes on it. Hold it, and again, the rest can be figured out. I've learned that there's all kinds of funding out there, all kinds of financing to develop homes, like from the ground
Hmm.
up construction loans. There are options out here to really get
Yeah.
busy. So our idea for the new Black Wall Street is not that far fetched. I'm a believer, personally speaking, to just start with you and your queen, you and your frat brother, you and me, and get like a few more cats and just start building with whatever you can, and then get bigger
Yeah.
as you go. But multifamily homes are the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't remember the famous historian who says, start where you are with what you have and know that is enough, right? Start with where you are with what you have and know that that is enough. So many times, see, I'm gonna get on to something else, but I know you believe, because you talk about, what you believe in and your beliefs, and so many times we refuse to step out on faith because we need to see all 10 steps. Nope, just show me the next one. And I believe that steps 4, 5, and 6 are going to appear when I take steps 1, 2, and 3, right? So many times we won't take steps 1 because we need to see what step 10 looks like. And that's not how faith works. If
Mm-hmm.
you say, I have a vision, and sometimes God will show you that thing at the end of the rainbow, but he don't show you the path to get there. He just say, this is what it looks like when you get there, start walking. And some of you
Yeah.
start shaking in your boots and you never take the first step because you say, you're telling me to start walking, but I don't even know which direction. I don't know what the first step is, the second step. Just start moving. Start where you are with what you have and know that that is enough. Brother Dre, man, this hour has flown by, my brother. We got 4 minutes to go.
Already?
Uh, so,
Ah,
so I'm gonna let you get the last 3 minutes, and I'll close the show out, man. Any parting thoughts? Anything that you got special going on? Promotions, discounts, any of your programs, courses, or whatever, man? Take it away. Anything you want these people to know now live, and those who are listening to the recording, the replay, or the podcast later on iTunes or Stitcher. Go for it, bro.
all right. Again, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate it. It's fun. It's exciting. And it's just confirmation for me that I'm doing the right thing and my life is going in the right direction. So on a personal level, I get a lot of joy out of this. So thank you again, audience, Brother Cortez. If I have to give a summary, be careful who you date. If you're about this life, date someone who's also about this life. They don't have to be on your level. They don't have to be on your level. They just have to get where you're going. They have to get that this is going to consume you. That a whole lot of nights that there aren't going to be fancy restaurants because that 50, 60, 80, 120 bucks will probably have to go into the stock market or into a trust so we can buy up some properties. Be careful who you allow into your life romantically. It can really help propel you or it can stunt your growth. All right. That's one thing. The second thing is start small. If you can get a big group off the bat, it's great. But don't wait for a big group to start the process. Just start with what you have: 1 cat, 2 cats, 2 queens, whatever, or just you, or just you, and start the aim from there. Again, the city-owned properties and the homepath.com, those are tangible places that you can get some properties that are below market value. Think long-term, focus on delayed gratification, not right now. Excuse me, delayed gratification. It works. Everything that I've been working on, I've been hardcore into for the past 3 years, and I haven't always known what I've been doing. Most of the time, I don't know what I am doing. I just know that I can do it, and I know that I'm going to take consistent action, and I'll be the most persistent cat in the friggin' world. So don't worry about knowing everything. Just start the process. Start the process and stay in it. My personal website is andrechatchett.com. andrechatchett.com. Cortez, he'll share some links later on if you guys want to take a course. I'm not great at everything I do. I am not, but I am a damn good teacher. I'll tell you that. And I have people in with me who blow me out the way. So honored, happy. The book, I think it's going to help out some brothers out there. And the documentary, the trailer's out. If you can pre-order a copy at ownerbeowned.co. And it's an honor.
Gotcha. So, guys, I told you, hopefully you had your seatbelts on and you didn't crash and burn, but I told you the brother was going to bring some heat. And that's what this thing is, man. You guys know me. You've been following me for a while. You know, I don't. we don't have to talk about problems. We know what the problems are. We've got to get to drilling down some solutions and creating some action plans. So Dre gave you some actionable steps, right? Start looking into how you can get some passive income into your life. Start looking at how you can acquire some land. Guys, land is the only thing on this planet that we're not getting more of, guys. There's a finite amount of it, and the more you own. He also alluded to something. He didn't say it quite as clearly, but the internet is online land. See, he's taking up a lot of internet real estate as well with his classes and his courses and the things that he's doing online. And that allows him to be wherever he is on the planet with this, he's in business.
I can get busy, yeah.
You guys understand that? Wherever he is on the planet with one of these, he's got business. So we've got to start looking at the broader scheme of things and figuring some things out. It starts with an understanding that first you have to decide that you want to be free. You first have to decide that you want to be wealthy. Then you define what those terms mean to you. Then you actually discipline yourself to actually do what it's going to take to get those things done, right? And you take action daily, and then you disassociate yourself from people who are not going to help you or support you in your pursuit of reaching and achieving any goal you set is worthwhile. So, guys, it is 8 o'clock. Today's show is brought to you by the Black Real Estate School and the Passive Income School. We will have the links to all of that stuff in the description below. As you guys know, I always give you the links to where my sponsors are. Go to hcortezthornton.com if you want to see written commentary and the replay of the show. Also, iTunes and Stitcher will have this stuff in an hour or so. TheBlackRealEstateSchool.com if you're into real estate and you want to start learning from some of the best. Because Andre he had his first property at 22, so he's been in this thing a long time. And then you guys know how networking works. Because he's in it, he networks with other multi-millionaire real estate investors, agents, developers, and he brings those folks in to teach classes on what they specialize in. I was watching one young lady who was teaching on tax lien certificates and how you can use that as a strategy, how you can niche down in the side of the real estate sphere. It's not all about flipping properties because we watch Flip This House 1,000 times on A&E, right? There's a ton of different ways you can be involved in real estate, and a lot of times it don't take a whole lot of money to get yourself in, get yourself connected, start learning and growing, and then you can start developing your capital along the way. So with that, I am your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class. Part 3 of Black Wall Street Week will feature a young queen, STLian, right here with me, Eliana Campbell of STL Black Biz. So you get to hear from a female perspective why buying black is so important, why building and economic development is so important. So you get to hear from a queen on her thoughts and what moved her in that area. So tomorrow, I want you to come right back, same time, same channel. But until then, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. So I'm gonna end the broadcast, but stay live with your camera for a second, Dre. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
Bye, guys.